Wayne moved away to Portland after we'd been together for about 6 months. Hi, Wayne.
Hi, Jeff.
This coincided with my decision to turn down a job to teach English in Japan for a year. These felt like good things, but I still felt very unresolved. Like I had closed the door on several opportunities in my life. I needed to do something significant before I turned 30. I got a guidebook and soon became fascinated with Ozori-san, an isolated mountain in Aomori Prefecture known as the Gateway to Hell. I emailed the closest hostel in Wakinosawa to set up a reservation and found out Ozori-san would be closed for the season, so I would have to put it out of my mind. I get to Japan, and after about 48 hours in Tokyo I realize that this nearly isn't as challenging as I thought it would be. And if I'm going to push myself outside of my comfort zone, I'm going to have to bust out of Tokyo and really get out there and see as much of the country as possible. I spend the next day in Nikko and visit the monuments there. I'm nagged the whole time by this feeling that I should really go to Wakinosawa anyway. I get back to the hostel that night and have tea with these very kind Japanese pilgrims and mention that I am considering going to Wakinosawa. They thought it was hilarious that this American had even heard of the place.
Okinasawa?
Oh, you can totally do it.
Yeah, you can get to Okinasawa one day. Come on, we'll show you how. It's in the book.
So like, this is train schedule?
See, you just
Right, you climb the mountain.
take this one, and then you get off at this stop, and then 3 stops later, you take the other train.
Okay, so it's all going to connect up there.
Yeah,
And there's
Of course
like
it
a
connects.
5-minute
We wouldn't
connect.
say, yeah.
Yeah.
but you can't do it on a Sunday.
Bring a book.
Yeah. Suddenly, everything seemed to be falling into place. That restless night and the following day on the train, I realized that for whatever reason, all these obstacles were clearing out of the way, and I had to admit that I honestly felt like I was being called to Wakinosawa. Even though it wasn't the place I had originally planned on visiting, even though I had the sense that there was nothing to do there, even though it sounded stupid, even though it was going to take me an entire day in the train to get there, even though it is this isolated peninsula with only 2 ferries that go there a day, for some reason I had to go to Wakinosawa. My mantra this whole journey was, I don't know what I'm doing. On the ferry over there, there were 5 people in the entire ferry.
There is about 5.
By this point I had read that Wakinosawa had excellent monkey watching,
and
there was a rare species of deer called the cerro, and locals go out in the woods and take pictures of these animals. I remember how I joked with some friends how this would be my vision quest if it weren't for the fact that I was too old to be going on a vision quest. One friend took this remark very seriously.
You are just the right age for a vision quest.
Now I was starting to take it seriously. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was there. So I would just say that going to the woods and looking for monkeys would be my vision quest. But let's just fast forward. I'm in the woods in Wakinosawa looking for monkeys, because at this point it's saturated with meaning for me. I had given up any sense of pretense and fully committed myself that I was now on a vision quest. Everything that happened to me in these woods would be interpreted as a metaphor for my life. What does this ladder mean? How about this dead end? I tried my damnedest to connect with these monkeys on a psychic level. No monkeys. I tried meditating. No monkeys. I attempted to shapeshift, even though I didn't know exactly what that meant. I tried walking for hours and hours. No monkeys. Finally, I climbed to the top of this hill and watched the moon. I nap for a while, and when I wake up, the sun is setting. It's time to go back before it gets too dark to find my way back home. So I guess that's it. A day where nothing happens and I'm just wandering around in life. And if there's any meaning to be gotten out of life, it's the meaning that I give it. I gave this vision quest a shot, and there's nothing to learn from it. I get back on the road and I hear a voice in my head. Run up to those 3 trees and touch them. I think it's stupid and I keep walking. Run up to those 3 trees and touch them. No, I think to myself. Run up to those 3 trees and touch them. You know what? Fine. Nobody's watching and you only live once. So I just do it. I run up to the 3 trees and I touch them. That's when I see this. That's Japanese for entrance. It's a sign pointing to a path that leads back into the forest. Weird. Okay, that's weird. And at this point, I have to go down this path. But the sun is setting, and I probably only have about 15 minutes of light, and it's only going to be darker in the woods. So I make the split decision to go down the path for 5 minutes, and I'll come right back. I walk feeling exhilarated and self-conscious at the same time. I don't know what I'm doing, I think to myself. Still, I'm having fun, I'm on an adventure, so I start running. I run through the woods, and I just keep going. I start to feel like this whole thing is ridiculous, so I just stop and I yell out, "I don't know what I'm doing!" I listen to the silence in the woods. But it's actually not silent. I hear rustling leaves, and more rustling leaves. And I look around, and the monkeys are all coming down in what seems almost like a slow ambush. Suddenly, I'm surrounded by monkeys. They maintain a safe distance, and we just hang out for a little while. I took some pictures because I figured no one would believe me, but I don't use flash because I don't want to scare the monkeys. I just stand there in awe, and I'm humbled by the whole experience. I made my way back to the hostel and found a delicious meal waiting for me. The end.